Okay, first things first. I know this is not a mushroom. I have called this Mushroom Gorge because it reminds me of a particular level in Mario Kart Wii where you are racing across this chasm and it has these giant mushrooms sticking up that you bounce across, and some are red, some are green, and you bounce across them on your way to the other side of the chasm. It's actually kind of an annoying level. I don't like it all that much, but seeing these little plants, whatever they are, sticking up from the ground like this, it made me think of that Mushroom Gorge level. So yes, I know these are not mushrooms, but it does have that connection in my mind anyway. If not for you, then that's fine because everybody's different. This is I don't actually like this photo all that much. I know some people do though. My wife really does. In fact, if you put this photo against last week's photo, my wife actually prefers this photo. And so just because I don't like it as much doesn't mean A, I don't like it at all, which is not true. I do like it. And B, someone else might like it. And so it's kind of a cool exercise in the subjective nature of photography when you see something like this. It helps remind you, or remind me anyway, that we all have different tastes and different likes and perspectives and all that. I shot this with my macro lens, and keep in mind these things, whatever you're looking at here, they're very small. I mean, the top, that little tuft of things on the right is maybe an inch total from one side to the other. So these are very small, and I shot this at f9.5 on my D500. This was, it happened to be a 2/50th of a second shutter speed, but there was no movement. It could have gone way less than that. And maybe I actually should have, because it ended up at ISO 560. And on the D500, I mean, it's not like this is high ISO or anything, but I really like a clean ISO. And if you go to Flickr and you look at some of the edges, like on the left and right edge, you'll see that we're starting to get some of the noise that you see with ISO, with higher ISO values. But anyway, the photo itself, it's fine. I wish the depth of field would have been a little wider and I could have used focus stacking, but it would have been almost impossible without more controls, like a tripod or something, which I didn't have with me. As it is, f9.5 worked well enough to get some nice sharpness on the right-hand side of this flower. What is this? Help! Someone tell me what this is if you know. I would have liked a bit more of it in focus, but it was also hard to just focus at all because there's so many of these little strands that my camera didn't really know what to focus on. And this is all handheld. This is on a hike with my wife and kids. I didn't want to stop and spend 10 minutes taking this picture. But the one thing that I really did want to do is capture this sense of backlighting. And just like last week's photo, in fact, I think the two previous weeks, I played around with backlighting a little bit. It's so fun to do that, especially when you shoot close up like this, because you just find all these interesting creative ways to use lighting or to make compositions with the lighting that you have. So I think it ended up maybe a bit too backlit. The exposure is blown out a bit on the far back side of this thing. And it would have been nice if I had underexposed and then brought it up in post. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and harp on the negatives. It's a fine photo. But when I put it up against some of the others that I've taken, I don't like it as much. But some people do. And so that's perfectly fine. Anyway, I hope you like it. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this photo.